The alien girl fled the forest beast, only I could save her. Dr. Samantha Pierce pressed her forehead against the thick viewport of Europa Station 6, watching ice crystals dance in the perpetual twilight of Jupiter's massive form overhead. The research station, buried 2 kilometers beneath Europa's frozen surface, had been her home for the past 18 months. The isolation would have driven most people mad, but Samantha found peace in studying the alien biochemistry of Europa's subglacial ocean. Sam, you need to see this. Dr. Raj Kumar's voice crackled through her comm unit. The quantum physicist's usually calm demeanor carried an edge of excitement that made her straighten immediately. What is it? She asked, already moving toward the lab section. The quantum detector is going crazy. These readings, they're like nothing I've ever seen. Samantha quickened her pace through the station's cramped corridors. The facility housed only 4 researchers, herself, Raj, marine biologist Dr. Nadia Volkov, and their systems specialist Marcus Wung. Their small team had spent months analyzing samples from Europa's vast underground ocean, searching for signs of microbial life. She found Raj hunched over his workstation, his dark eyes fixed on a holographic display showing rapidly shifting quantum signatures. Marcus stood beside him, his hands flying over a secondary console. I've triple-checked the equipment, Marcus said without looking up. These readings are real. Samantha studied the data stream, her breath catching. The quantum patterns showed clear signs of organization, impossibly complex structures that couldn't be natural. Where is this coming from? 2 kilometers northeast of the station, Raj replied. The signal appeared 20 minutes ago and has been growing stronger. Nadia needs to see this, Samantha said, reaching for her comm. She's out at collection point 3. Already called her, Marcus interrupted. She's heading back now. The station's external sensors began picking up movement. Something large was approaching through the dark waters beyond their reinforced walls. The quantum signatures intensified. Whatever's generating these patterns, Raj said softly, it's coming to us. Samantha moved to the main viewport, activating the external lights. The powerful beams cut through the murky water, illuminating swirling particles of ice and mineral deposits. At first, she saw nothing unusual. Then a gleam caught her eye, something crystalline and geometric drifting through the water with deliberate purpose. The object was roughly the size of a car, its surface composed of interlocking crystalline structures that seemed to shift and reorganize themselves as it moved. It pulsed with internal light that matched the frequency of the quantum readings. My God, Samantha breathed, it's beautiful. The crystal entity approached the viewport, rotating slowly. Its surface rippled and the quantum readings spiked. Samantha felt a strange resonance in her chest, like standing too close to a massive speaker. The patterns, Raj said, his voice filled with wonder, they're not random, this is communication. The door hissed open and Nadia burst in, still wearing her collection gear. The Russian marine biologist stopped short at the sight of the creature. Baj moi. We need to document everything, Samantha said, forcing herself to think like a scientist despite her racing heart. Marcus, start full spectrum analysis. Raj, record all quantum variations. Nadia, help me set up the biological scanning array. The team moved with practiced efficiency, but Samantha could feel the electric tension in the air. They had prepared for the possibility of discovering microbial life. Nothing had prepared them for this. The crystal entity remained stationary outside their viewport, its pulses growing more complex. And then, impossibly, more shapes emerged from the darkness. Dozens of crystalline forms, each unique in structure but clearly related, gathering around the station like curious children. They're responding to our scans, Marcus reported. The quantum signatures are adapting, becoming more organized, almost like they're learning our technology, Raj finished. They're trying to establish communication protocols. Samantha watched in amazement as the creatures began arranging themselves in geometric patterns, their pulses synchronizing. The resonance in her chest grew stronger, and with it came something else, a sensation of presence, of consciousness. "This changes everything," she whispered. "We're not alone in the solar system, and they want to talk." A new alert sounded from Marcus's console, multiple signals approaching from the ocean floor, hundreds of them. His voice cracked with excitement. "This isn't just first contact with a single entity, this is first contact with an entire civilization." Samantha felt a mix of terror and exhilaration as more crystals emerged from the depths. Humanity had dreamed of this moment, searched the stars for signs of intelligent life. And here it was, hidden in an ocean beneath the ice of Europa, waiting to be discovered. She opened a channel to Earth, knowing the message would take almost an hour to reach mission control. "This is Dr. Samantha Pierce at Europa Station 6. Please implement first contact protocols immediately. We have made contact with a non-terrestrial intelligent species. I repeat, we have confirmed intelligent alien life on Europa." As she spoke, the crystal beings continued their hypnotic dance outside the viewport, their quantum songs growing more complex by the second. Samantha knew that nothing in human history would be the same after this moment. The only question was, what were they trying to tell us? Dr. Raj Kumar hadn't slept in 36 hours, but his hands remained steady as he adjusted the quantum interference patterns on his holographic display. The crystalline beings outside Europa Station 6 had spent the past day and a half attempting to establish meaningful communication, their quantum signatures growing increasingly complex. "The processing core is running hot again," Marcus Wung called from his workstation. The system's specialist's usually immaculate appearance had given way to rumpled clothes and disheveled hair. "These calculations are pushing our quantum computers to their limits." "Keep them running," Raj replied, not taking his eyes off the data stream. "We're close to something, I can feel it." Dr. Nadia Volkov entered the lab, carrying fresh coffee for everyone. The marine biologist had been analyzing the biological components of their visitors, though the creatures defied traditional classification. Any progress with the translation algorithms? "Some," Raj said, accepting the coffee gratefully. "The quantum signatures follow patterns similar to mathematical constants. They're using universal laws of physics as a foundation for communication." "Smart approach," Marcus commented. "Mathematics would be common ground between any advanced civilizations." The main door hissed open and Dr. Samantha Pierce strode in, her face tight with concern. "Earth finally responded to our first contact message. They're sending a response team, ETA 3 months. 3 months? Nadia's Russian accent thickened with frustration. "That's too long. These beings are trying to tell us something important. I can sense their urgency." As if in response to her words, the quantum readings suddenly spiked. The station's lights flickered and all their displays momentarily scrambled. When they reset, the patterns had changed. "Look at this," Raj leaned forward, excitement overtaking his exhaustion. "The crystals have synchronized their quantum states with our computer's processing core. They're not just communicating, they're interfacing directly with our systems." Marcus's fingers flew across his console. "The quantum computer is processing data at 10 times its normal capacity. These beings aren't just sending messages, they're upgrading our technology to handle their communication methods." Samantha joined them at the main display. "Can you decode any of it?" "It's coming through now," Raj said. "Most of it is still encrypted in quantum states we can't interpret, but some patterns are resolving into recognizable data." The holographic display filled with streaming symbols and equations. Marcus's eyes widened as he analyzed them. "These look like astronomical calculations, coordinates, gravitational fields, quantum fluctuations in spacetime." "There," Nadia pointed to a recurring pattern. "That sequence keeps repeating. It's centered on a point just beyond our solar system." Raj isolated the pattern and enhanced it. The mathematical model described a wave of some kind moving through space at impossible speeds. As they watched, the crystalline beings outside intensified their pulses and more data poured into their systems. The quantum computer's core temperature is reaching critical levels, Marcus warned. Whatever they're trying to show us, it's overwhelming our processors. Samantha made a quick decision. Shut it down, we can't risk. Before she could finish, every screen in the lab went dark. The emergency lights kicked in, bathing them in red light. Then, slowly, the main display reactivated on its own. The image it showed made them all step back in shock. A three-dimensional map of the galaxy materialized, with a massive distortion wave approaching from the direction the crystals had indicated. The wave appeared to be consuming everything in its path, accelerating the entropy of entire star systems. "My God," Raj whispered, "they're not just trying to communicate, they're warning us." The station's systems came back online one by one. Marcus checked his readings and swore softly. "The quantum computer, it's different. The crystals didn't just interface with it, they rebuilt its architecture. It's processing quantum data in ways that should be impossible." "Look," Nadia pointed to the viewport. The crystalline beings had arranged themselves in a new pattern, forming what looked like a model of an atom. But as they watched, the model began to decay, its particles spinning faster and faster. "They're showing us what's coming," Samantha said, her voice grim. "That wave they detected, it's affecting fundamental forces at the quantum level, accelerating the breakdown of matter itself." Raj studied the new data flowing through their enhanced systems. "Based on these calculations, the wave will reach our solar system in less than a year. These beings, they must have fled from its path." "But why come here?" Marcus asked. "Why Europa specifically?" Before anyone could answer, the quantum signatures changed again. The crystalline beings pressed closer to the viewport, their internal lights pulsing in perfect synchronization. The sensation of presence in their minds grew stronger, and with it came images, vast cities of living crystal, powered by the quantum energy of space itself, all being devoured by an approaching darkness. "They're showing us their home," Samantha breathed, "or what's left of it." The images shifted to Europa's ocean, to the complex quantum fields generated by its interaction with Jupiter's magnetosphere. The message became clear. This moon's unique properties could offer sanctuary not just for the crystal beings but for any civilization threatened by the approaching wave. A new alarm sounded from Marcus's station. "Multiple objects entering Europa's orbit. Earth's response team isn't waiting 3 months, they're deploying automated probes now." "We need to protect them," Nadia said firmly. "These beings aren't just refugees, they're trying to save us all." Samantha nodded, already moving to the communication console. "I'll try to delay the probes, buy us more time. Raj, keep working on the translation. Marcus, see if you can stabilize the quantum computer with its new architecture. Nadia, document everything. We need to prove these beings are here to help us, not harm us." As the team rushed to their tasks, the crystal entities continued their quantum dance outside the viewport. Their message was clear now. Time was running out, not just for them but for all life in this region of space. The only question was, would Earth's leaders listen before it was too late? Captain Diana Reeves stood in Europa Station 6's airlock chamber, removing her pressure suit while studying the facility with sharp gray eyes. After 3 months of emergency transit from Earth, she'd expected to find chaos. Instead, she found an eerily ordered scene. Crystalline entities arranged in geometric patterns outside every viewport, their quantum pulses synchronized with the station's now modified systems. Captain Dr. Samantha Pierce greeted her with a firm handshake. "Welcome to First Contact." "Doctor," Diana's voice was cool, professional. "Your last report indicated the quantum computers have been completely redesigned by these beings. My team will need to inspect the modifications." "Of course," Samantha replied. "Dr. Kumar can walk them through the changes, but there's something more urgent we need to discuss." A tremor ran through the station before Diana could respond. The lights flickered and the quantum resonance that hummed through the structure intensified. Another solar storm approaching, Marcus Wung announced from his monitoring station. Jupiter's magnetosphere is becoming increasingly unstable. Diana watched a group of soldiers from her security detail exchange nervous glances. She couldn't blame them. The scene before her, alien crystals pulsing with impossible light, modified computers processing quantum data that shouldn't exist, and a team of scientists who seemed more concerned with an approaching cosmic threat than proper military protocol, was far from standard operations. Dr. Pierce, Diana said, my orders are to secure this facility and establish controlled communication protocols with the entities. We need to ensure they aren't a threat before. They're not the threat, Dr. Raj Kumar interrupted, emerging from his lab. Dark circles under his eyes testified to endless hours of work. The wave they're warning us about is, and it's accelerating faster than our initial calculations suggested. Diana turned to face him. Explain. Raj led them to the main lab where a holographic display showed the approaching distortion wave. The security team's physicist, Dr. Theodore Chen, immediately moved to examine the data. The wave is consuming space itself, Raj explained, accelerating entropy to the point where matter can't maintain atomic cohesion. The crystal beings fled here because Europa's unique properties, its ocean, its interaction with Jupiter's magnetosphere might offer a way to shield against the effect. Might? Diana raised an eyebrow. We're still working on the exact mechanisms, Samantha said, but we've confirmed their predictions about the wave's approach. 3 solar observatories have detected the leading edge of the distortion. Another tremor shook the station, stronger this time. Dr. Nadia Volkov burst into the lab, her face pale. The storm is affecting them, she reported. The crystalline beings are showing signs of stress. Diana followed the marine biologist to the main viewport. The crystal entities had begun moving erratically, their usual ordered patterns dissolving into chaos. The quantum readings from their modified computers spiked wildly. They're trying to warn us about something immediate, Raj said, studying the data stream, something about the solar storm. The station's warning system suddenly blared to life. Marcus's fingers flew across his console. Massive plasma ejection from Jupiter's magnetosphere. This isn't just a storm, it's unlike anything we've recorded. How long? Diana demanded. 10 minutes until impact. Standard shields won't be enough to protect us. Diana turned to her security team, ready to order emergency protocols, but the crystal beings had already begun to act. They pressed against the viewports, their quantum signatures aligning in new patterns. The station's modified computers responded, processing data at impossible speeds. They're trying to help, Samantha realized. They're showing us how to adapt our shields. If we get this wrong, we'll lose the station, Diana warned. Everyone aboard will die. Samantha met her gaze steadily. If we don't trust them now, we'll die anyway. Diana held the scientist's stare for a long moment, then nodded sharply. Do it. Raj and Marcus worked frantically with the modified systems, implementing the crystal being's quantum shield modifications. Dr. Chen joined them, his initial skepticism giving way to focused determination as he grasped the underlying principles. 5 minutes to impact, Marcus announced. The crystal entities outside began to glow brighter, their internal light pulsing in perfect synchronization with the station's power grid. The quantum computers hummed, their modified architecture channeling energy in ways that defied conventional physics. Shield modifications complete, Raj reported, but we've never tested anything like this. 3 minutes. Diana watched the approaching storm on the external sensors. The plasma wave was massive, carrying enough energy to vaporize the station's conventional defenses. Everything depended on whether these alien refugees could be trusted. 1 minute. The crystal beings pressed closer to the station, forming a secondary barrier with their own bodies. Their quantum signatures merged with the modified shields, creating layers of protection that existed partially outside normal spacetime. Impact in 10, 9, 8. Diana felt Samantha's hand grip her arm. The scientist's expression showed not fear but wonder. 3, 2, 1. The storm hit with apocalyptic force. The station shuddered, but the modified shields held. Through the viewport, they watched in awe as the crystal beings channeled the plasma surge, their bodies refracting the energy like living prisms. Impossible, Dr. Chen whispered, staring at his readings. They're not just deflecting the energy, they're converting it, storing it somehow. When the storm passed, the crystal entities glowed brighter than ever. Their quantum signatures had changed, becoming even more complex. New data poured into the station's computers. They used the storm's energy to enhance their communication capabilities, Raj explained, studying the incoming data. They're showing us more about the wave, about what happened to their civilization, and about what we'll need to do to survive. Diana watched the beings resume their geometric patterns, now understanding why her superiors' standard containment protocols wouldn't work. These creatures weren't just refugees seeking shelter, they were advanced beings offering humanity a chance to survive an approaching apocalypse. Dr. Pierce, she said finally, I think it's time you tell me everything they've shown you, and then we need to discuss how to convince Earth's leaders that our only hope of survival lies with trusting these beings completely. Outside the viewport, the crystal entities pulsed in agreement, their light a beacon against the darkness of Europa's ocean. The real challenge was just beginning. Earth Command's response is final, Captain Diana Reeves announced, her face grim as she addressed the gathered team in Europa Station 6's main conference room. They're ordering us to contain the crystal entities for study and prevent any further modifications to station equipment. Dr. Samantha Pierce slammed her hand on the table. That's suicide, don't they understand what's coming? They understand what we've told them, Diana replied carefully. But the verification data from the solar observatories isn't definitive enough. They want more proof before allowing an alien species to rebuild our technology and establish a permanent presence on Europa. Dr. Raj Kumar pulled up the latest sensor readings on the holographic display. The approaching entropy wave had accelerated again, its effects now detectable by conventional instruments. At current speed, the wave will reach Pluto's orbit in 5 months. We don't have time for bureaucratic debates. The crystal beings outside the station had grown more numerous over the past week. Hundreds of them now surrounded the facility, their quantum signatures forming intricate patterns that the modified computers translated into increasingly detailed warnings and proposals. Look at this, Dr. Theodore Chen said, highlighting a section of data. The military physicist had become a crucial bridge between the science team and Diana's security personnel. They're not just showing us the wave's approach. They're providing blueprints for a defensive infrastructure. Europa's ocean could house millions of their kind, creating a quantum shield large enough to protect the entire solar system. Marcus Wung shook his head as he studied the plans. The power requirements would be enormous. We'd need to tap into Jupiter's magnetosphere, build quantum relay stations throughout the ocean. Which is exactly what Earth Command is afraid of, Diana interjected. They see it as giving aliens control over our solar system's largest power source. Dr. Nadia Volkov, who had been quietly observing the crystal beings' behavior, finally spoke. They don't want control, they're offering partnership. She turned to face the group. I've been studying their social patterns, the way they organize themselves, share information, make decisions. It's all based on consensus and mutual benefit. They could have overwhelmed our systems at any time, but instead they wait for our understanding and agreement. A sudden alert from Marcus's console interrupted the discussion. New quantum signature detected, much larger than anything we've seen before. They rushed to the viewport. A massive crystalline form emerged from the darkness of Europa's ocean, its structure more complex than the others. As it approached, the smaller crystal beings arranged themselves around it in concentric circles. Their leader, Diana wondered aloud. More like a collective consciousness, Raj said, studying the quantum readings. They're merging their signatures, creating a more powerful communication channel. The station's quantum computers hummed as new data streamed in. The holographic display filled with images, the crystal beings' home universe collapsing, their desperate search for refuge, and finally, a vision of hope. Europa transformed into a sanctuary, its ocean hosting a hybrid civilization of human and crystalline technology working together to hold back the entropy wave. They're showing us what's possible, Samantha breathed, if we cooperate. Another alert sounded. Multiple ships entering Europa orbit, Marcus reported. Military vessels, heavy weapons signatures. Diana's comm unit crackled. Captain Reeves, this is Admiral Harrison. You are ordered to power down all modified systems and prepare the station for evacuation. We will commence containment procedures for the alien entities in 1 hour. The crystal being's quantum signatures shifted, registering what could only be described as distress. The massive collective consciousness began to pulse with increasing intensity. They know what's happening, Nadia said. They're afraid. Diana looked at her security team, then at the scientists who had worked alongside these remarkable beings. The weight of command pressed down on her shoulders as she realized this moment would determine not just humanity's first contact with an alien civilization, but potentially the survival of their entire solar system. Dr. Pierce, she said finally, if we help them build their sanctuary, can you guarantee Earth's safety? Samantha met her gaze. No, but I can guarantee that without their help, there won't be an Earth to protect when that wave arrives. Diana nodded slowly, then reached for her comm unit. Instead of responding to the Admiral, she opened a channel to her security team. All personnel implement Protocol Omega. Raj looked up sharply. What's Protocol Omega? Total communications blackout, Diana explained. As far as Earth knows, we've lost all contact due to another solar storm. By the time they restore communications, she allowed herself a small smile. We'll have proof they can't ignore. They'll court-martial you, Dr. Chen warned. Only if we fail, Diana turned to the team. We have 1 hour before they realize something's wrong. Dr. Kumar, Dr. Chen, start implementing the quantum shield blueprints. Marcus, Nadia, coordinate with the crystal beings. Let them know we're choosing to help. Dr. Pierce. Yes. Tell them to bring more of their people. We're going to need every one of them to pull this off. Outside the viewport, the collective consciousness flared with brilliant light, its quantum signature radiating what could only be described as joy. The smaller crystal beings began to move with renewed purpose, their patterns shifting to align with the station's systems. One more thing, Diana added, watching the aliens prepare for their greatest collaboration with humanity. When the Admiral realizes what we've done and sends in troops, we're going to need a way to show them beyond any doubt that we made the right choice. Samantha smiled. I think our friends out there have been preparing for exactly that moment. The crystal beings pulsed in agreement, their light casting long shadows through the station's corridors as the team raced to begin their work. They had chosen to trust these refugees from another universe, to believe in the possibility of salvation through cooperation rather than fear. Now they just had to prove they'd made the right choice before it was too late. Quantum shield at 40% capacity, Marcus Wung announced, his voice hoarse from hours of coordinating the massive construction effort. Through Europa Station 6's viewports, thousands of crystal beings now moved in intricate patterns across the ocean floor, building structures that defied conventional physics. Dr. Raj Kumar and Dr. Theodore Chen worked side by side at the quantum interface, their earlier professional rivalry forgotten in the face of their monumental task. The crystalline matrix is holding, Raj reported. Power flow from Jupiter's magnetosphere is stable. Captain Diana Reeves stood at the main viewport watching military ships circling in Europa's orbit. They had maintained radio silence for 3 days, but she knew their time was running out. How much longer? The entropy wave has passed Neptune's orbit, Dr. Samantha Pierce replied, studying the long-range sensors. At current acceleration, we have less than 72 hours before it reaches Jupiter's system. The massive crystalline consciousness that had become their primary interface with the alien refugees pulsed with urgent patterns. Dr. Nadia Volkov, who had developed an almost intuitive understanding of their quantum language, translated. "They say the shield alone won't be enough," she reported. "We need to establish a permanent quantum bridge between our spacetime and a stable pocket universe they've created. It's the only way to anchor our reality against the wave's effects." A warning klaxon shattered the tense atmosphere. "Multiple ships launching drop pods," Marcus called out. "They're coming in hot." Diana grabbed her comm unit. "Security teams to entry points. Remember, non-lethal responses only. These are our own people, just following orders they don't understand yet." The station shuddered as the first pods impacted the ice above. They could hear cutting tools beginning to work through the layers of frozen water. "We need more time," Raj said, his fingers flying over the quantum interface. "The bridge calculations aren't complete." The crystal beings responded to the threat with unexpected grace. Hundreds of them moved to surround the station, their bodies generating quantum fields that interfered with the military's cutting equipment. "Clever," Dr. Chen remarked. "They're not blocking them completely, just slowing them down." "They understand we don't want a conflict," Nadia said proudly. "They're giving us a chance to prove ourselves to our own people." Another alarm blared. "The wave's acceleration is increasing," Samantha reported, her face pale. "We just lost our 72-hour window. It'll be here in less than 48 hours now." Diana made a quick decision. "Dr. Pierce, prepare a complete data package, all our readings, all the evidence we've gathered about the wave and the crystal being's intentions. Marcus, the moment they break through, broadcast it to every ship in orbit." "What about the quantum bridge?" Raj asked. "Keep working," Diana ordered. "The rest of us will handle the military. We just need to stall them long enough to complete the calculations." The next hour passed in a blur of activity. The crystal beings continued their defensive measures while simultaneously helping construct the quantum bridge apparatus. The massive consciousness coordinated their efforts, its quantum signatures becoming increasingly complex as it prepared for the final integration. The first breach came at the upper airlock. Diana met the incoming troops with her security team, hands raised in a gesture of peace. "Before you take another step," she announced clearly, "look out the viewport." The soldiers, led by a grim-faced colonel, paused at the sight. The crystal beings had arranged themselves into a living display of the entropy wave's approach, their bodies showing through quantum emissions exactly what would happen to their solar system without intervention. "My God," the colonel whispered. "That's not the most impressive part," Diana said. "Marcus, show them the bridge." The main viewport's display activated, showing the quantum calculations and construction progress. Dr. Chen stepped forward, speaking the language of physics that military scientists would understand. Gradually, the soldiers' expressions changed from suspicion to awe. A new alert sounded. "Wave acceleration increasing again," Samantha called out. 36 hours to impact." The colonel looked at his data pad, then at the crystal beings continuing their work despite the military incursion. "Captain Reeves, if what you're showing us is accurate." "Every word," Diana confirmed, "and we're about to prove it, Dr. Kumar." "Quantum bridge calculations complete," Raj announced, "ready for final integration." The massive consciousness pulsed with brilliant light and all the crystal beings moved into their final positions. The quantum computers hummed as power began flowing through the crystalline network. "Admiral Harrison is demanding an update," the colonel said, his comm unit buzzing. Diana smiled. "Tell him to watch closely. Marcus, broadcast all frequencies." The quantum bridge activated. A sphere of pure energy formed in the center of the crystal being's formation, growing until it was larger than the station itself. Within it, they could see another space, a sanctuary dimension the crystal beings had crafted specifically to shelter both their civilizations. Bridge stability at 90%, Raj reported. Quantum shield integrating with interdimensional matrix. Through the viewport, they watched crystal beings begin flowing into the sphere, their bodies transforming into pure quantum energy before reforming on the other side. The massive consciousness remained, maintaining the bridge's integrity. Final wave calculations complete, Samantha announced. The shield will hold, the bridge will let us evacuate if needed, but we can save our solar system. The colonel lowered his weapon completely, ordering his men to stand down. Above them, the military ships began broadcasting new signals, not attack orders but requests for information, offers of help. Diana turned to Samantha. Send the response. Tell them we need every quantum physicist, every engineer, every scientist they can spare. We've got 36 hours to integrate their technology with ours across the entire system. The massive consciousness pulsed with approval, its quantum signature radiating what they had all come to recognize as hope. Humanity had passed the test, choosing cooperation over fear, innovation over isolation. As the teams began working together, human and crystal being, scientist and soldier, the quantum bridge shimmered with possibility. They had built more than just a sanctuary against the entropy wave. They had built a bridge between civilizations, a promise that evolution and adaptation would always triumph over destruction. The massive consciousness released one final quantum pulse which Nadia translated with tears in her eyes. Welcome, friends, to the next stage of existence. Outside Europa Station 6, Jupiter's light reflected off countless crystalline forms as they began the work of saving two civilizations. The quantum bridge glowed like a newborn star, a testament to what was possible when fear gave way to understanding and isolation yielded to connection. The choice they had made in defiance of orders had led them here, to the threshold of a new era for both species. As Diana watched humans and crystal beings working side by side, she knew that whatever came next, they would face it together.